Josh Fernando, a second-year data science student, running to be your next SC representative with Kasanga.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Nicole Maniego, running as your next School of Sciences and Engineering representative under the banner of ANIMO.
SSE's population are BSIT students. Considering that Ms. Maniego is from Industrial Engineering and Mr. Fernando is from Data Science, how do your projects concretely represent the interests of the SSE's majority population without neglecting other courses? I repeat, how do your projects concretely represent the interests of the SSE's majority population without neglecting other courses?
So I guess I would like to talk about my three projects and how my three projects would actually represent not just DS, not just doesn't necessarily represent a single course, but rather all of them combined. So my very first one is the project management workshop. And so this workshop is meant to be SSE-wide. And the thing with this workshop is that it's open to anyone in SSE, so I don't really see how this is not going to be beneficial to either course, nor how will it benefit a single course in particular, especially with how the culture in SSE, how the home orgs work, as it's divided. There's the larger home org sense, and it's divided into the three sub-orgs, which is currently Science, iTech, and DSC. So there are avenues for each of these courses to organize projects for both of their communities and for the SENS community in general. That's why I think my first project, the project management workshop for SSE students, would actually benefit everyone, because everyone in this SSE has the opportunity and the avenue to implement what they've learned and to benefit from my project. So the second is the SSE internship database, because from the information I have, SSE, no matter which course, doesn't have a solid formal internship database. And so for having a database for internship will benefit every single course, because every single course at SSE has an internship, and I think every course in UA&P has an internship. And rather than having to go through the trouble of finding your own internship, which may be good, which may be bad, you never know. Having this database will help everyone, be it your IT, DS, or IE, or even civil engineering eventually, right? Having this internship database will really be a support for you, for everyone, no matter which course you are. And finally, the career talks. Career talks, similar to the internship database, this will benefit every single school, because this is not, I plan to make this, to have several sessions to make it more course specific. Because, IT, DS, and IE, there are overlaps, but they are not exactly the same. DS is more focused on the analytics of data, IT is more on the technological side, and IE is more on the, if I'm not mistaken, the processes. Making things better, So, and for civil engineering, of course, about constructing. So there's really a difference between each of the courses, and therefore, of course, what the employers will be looking for in your resume, your CV, your interview, your portfolio will be different for each course. And that's why this project will actually be helpful to everyone, because that is something that we need. And no matter who you are at SSE, no matter which course you are, I believe that you can benefit from learning more about how to excel in your future careers and how to make the most of your stay in UA&P. Thank you.
Ms. Maniego, you're about on.
Thank you, Mr. Fernando. So I appreciate that you accounted SSE in all of your projects. And I know that we're running as SSE reps, but first question is, why did you focus on SSE only? Because you're running for USG as well. And with regard to your project being that we're asked how does it represent the SSE's majority population, which is BSIT. So with your first project, which is project management workshop, yes, it is open to all, but how will you convince them to join that workshop if ngayon pa lang ang representatives natin is IE and DS? So is there really a need for this as well? Because we have a lot of organizations in the university, not just our home organizations. And a lot of us are already there in the home organizations. So how will you assure that these workshops will actually target that of the entire SSE, most especially the majority population, which is IT? For your second project, you mentioned that there is no solid database. However, I consulted with the sub-organization presidents from ITech, DSC, and SINE. And for IT, they have a database of companies that offers internships. SINE has a list of companies with contact information of the companies as well. And then data science, given that you're still starting as a program, so I understand the want for such database. But the fact that there is already a database and still the students are looking for the internship programs through their own connections, how can you make sure that your database will not be outdated as well? And then lastly, career talks, you mentioned in your poster that it is unlike CSA and OCS's career essentials. However, it's still career talks. What really is the difference between the career talks that you are willing to offer and OCS is willing to offer? Because career talks, how to get internships, it's just, oh, you have to have these documents, you should be presentable. How will that be different? And the fact that you have two separate projects for internships, why didn't you collate them into just one project? You could have dedicated your one project for the entire university because you're running for USG as well, not just for SSE. Okay, so that's why my projects are designed that way, that it caters to three of the major beneficiaries that an SSE rep must have: the current SSE, the university, and the future SSE. So my first project is actually for the current SSE, which is Open House. Open House will be an internship fair to be held during SSE week, where companies will be invited to market their internship opportunities here in the university, specifically those that align with the college programs offered under SSE. This will be offered not only to the SSE students that are currently enrolled, but also can be extended to the graduates and alumni of SSE that want to pursue internship opportunities. And this way, they will be assured that those companies are offering the internship opportunities at the time that they're looking for the internships. My second project, which is LUWAS, is for the university. Okay, LUWAS is an initiative to create a new USG committee under the Office of the Internal Vice President in collaboration with the CSA, or Center for Student Affairs, that aims to provide a sustainable support system for UA&P students that are from the provinces by creating a community that will cultivate their experiences and for their own benefit as well as other UA&P students. And I've actually talked with some of the offices in CSA that are offering student services, and they said that this will be a good avenue to connect the student body and the services that UA&P is offering, especially for the students that are from outside Metro Manila. And my third major beneficiary and my major stakeholder is our future SSE, which is the Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering students. So my third project is Project Roadmap. Project Roadmap is a 3-year comprehensive plan that aims to fully integrate CE students, the Pioneer Batch, into SSE's home organization sense, and also fully equip them with the skills that they need to create, build, and strengthen their own home organization. As far as my consultations went, I learned that there is no plan yet to help the CE students find their place into SSE. And that is why this project, I think, is really beneficial for the entire SSE community and the future SSE stakeholders as well, which is CE. So through this, they will have the support that they have to have in order to have a meaningful college experience. And that's exactly why I'm running for USG. UA&P offered me a lot of opportunities to be here, to have a meaningful college experience, and I want you to have them as well. Thank you.
Mr. Fernando, your rebuttal.
So as I mentioned that actually my projects will especially let me start first my project management workshop. Actually, it will benefit the BSIT community because back in March of 2019, the ITech actually has conducted a similar project, which means that there is a demand in the IT community for a project management workshop. And the second, yes, maybe there might be a database for IE and IT right now, although my information says otherwise, we can confirm that after this. Yes, but at the same time, I think it's also I don't think it's a bad idea to neglect the fact that DS doesn't have an internship database. And at the same time, I don't see the problem with making sure that these databases are updated, up to date, and even expanding it so we can have more opportunities. And for the last one, for the career talks, yes, it's very different from CSA because the current CSA projects right now, like the upcoming one, I'm not sure if it's included already, it was about projecting confidence. There's also one about thriving in your internship journey, how AI will affect your hiring, but these are not necessarily SSE specific because the environment here in the Philippines is super different from what you see abroad. Yes, you can read like data science, how to get hired data science in the US, how to get hired IT in the US, but in the Philippines it's very different. We also realize that there are different colleges in the Philippines, so it will also help us with the tips of the alumni and how we make ourselves stand out as a graduate of UA&P. And I also like to address the fact that I'm not sure, maybe I didn't hear it properly, but you also didn't address the problem of how your projects actually represent the largest majority in LC, which is BSIT. And apart from that, from the open house, another part of the issue with the open house is you can only invite so many stalls, so many companies to set up their booths here. And I think really an internship database would be more beneficial because you can have so many. Theoretically, the limit in the database is infinite. Meanwhile, if you have an open house, you invite schools here, you invite companies here to talk about their companies, and for all of that, there's only so many you can actually invite. And for the roadmap project, yes, it is definitely a noble goal to help to integrate civil engineering to our homework, but I think, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, I'm just saying maybe now is not the right time. Because for context, timing, the civil engineering announcement, the offering was only announced like right a few days before the actual entrance exam. So we really don't know if there's going to be a large student population for them as well. And we also look at the most recent DSE, the youngest one, they actually spent 2 years learning under AMSOC about how to build their own community. So I think it'd be better for them to learn first how to put themselves into the culture before we start building one for them. We should build it with them, not for them.
In the interest of the SSE population as a whole, an overarching issue within your school is the stratification across batches and courses. There even exist sub-orgs per course in contrast to other schools, most of which only have one home org. Do you believe that it is time to lean into the differences of each course and focus on strengthening the sub-orgs, making sense, less of a focus? Why or why not? Beginning with Ms. Maniego.
So I think while we do have the differences between the sub-orgs, because of course the nature of our college programs is really different from each other, I think it's still important to strengthen sense because it's our home org, and our home org within the program can only represent us as much. Diba? We are represented, for example, I'm represented by science. But in order to actually collaborate with the rest of SSE community, we have to strengthen sense. We have to strengthen our sub-orgs, but we cannot neglect sense. It should also be strengthened alongside with the strengthening of our sub-orgs. And with the fact that it is indeed different, it is more beneficial for sense actually that we have differences between the sub-organizations. Kasi with the fact that we have different capabilities as our own college programs, we can offer a lot more to our home organization. We can offer a lot more skills that vary and hindi siya repetitive. Marami tayong variation and we should take advantage of that. Our sub-orgs having their own differences should be implemented then in sense in a way that we can actually grow with each other, for SSE. And that is why I think that while strengthening the sub-orgs is indeed important, accepting the differences is important, acknowledging the fact that we have our big home organization, which is SSE, is also important to build, to strengthen, and to also create a stronger foundation. Thank you.
Mr. Fernando?
Yeah, so I actually agree with Nicole on this. I don't think it's time to split up sense because, well, first of all, I think both me and Nicole can agree, it's not about IE, it's not about ES, we're not running here about that. It's about SSE. And as Nicole said, sense is the foundation. And I would really like to give an example, right? Just because we are different, yes, we have differences, but we are still one community. It's like the human body. Each human body has different organ systems. The heart is good at one thing, the brain is good at another thing, the muscles are good at another thing, and so are we in sense, right? DS, data science, we are really good with the math, we are good with analyzing the data. IT, they have their own strengths. IT, they have their own strengths. But together, when you have the brain, the heart, the muscles, when you put them all together, what do you get? You get a human being that can do more than what they are divided. You know, as they say, a house divided amongst itself will crumble. And I really think that's what's important. You know, just because we are different doesn't mean that we should be different. And that's really how I see it. You know, we do have our differences, but we also have our strengths. And I really think our strengths complement each other. And just as I said, I'll repeat it again. Sense is the foundation. If you don't have a strong foundation, even civil engineers coming up, yes. So if you don't have a strong foundation, the building will crumble. And it's like you can also imagine it as having the four pillars right in a building. If you remove one of the four pillars in a chair, the chair will fall over. That's why I think it's not the right time to remove sense. In fact, to destroy sense completely, to segregate each of us into our own environments. I think that's actually more destructive than helpful. Because if you look at it, through the SSE has been established since 2009. Sense has been here since 2009. So what's the difference with now than the previous years? Yes, we are coming out of the pandemic, but I don't think that makes it a major difference, a major reason why we should split sense. Because if sense can do it back then why can't we do it now? Thank you.
Alright, that ends the first round of the debate. We'll now proceed with the second question. The introduction of the civil engineering course will present SSE with a new wave of students to welcome and accommodate. At the same time, SSE currently faces issues such as stratification across courses and batches, student detachment from extracurriculars, lack of student participation in SENS and other sub-orgs. How will you provide support for both the civil engineering students while addressing the present issues within SSE without neglecting one in favor of the other? Provide concrete ways. Beginning this time with Ms. Maniego.
The question is, how will I provide support for the CE students and also SSE? That is through my projects, really. I allotted one of my projects specifically for CE because I know that they will need all the help they can get to create their own identity into SSE. And that's why Project Roadmap, I actually want to clarify that Project Roadmap is a 3-year-long comprehensive plan, which means that there are 3 phases. Actually, Mr. Fernando said the first one already, kanina. It's the integration of CE students into SSE first, into SENS first. So let's give them the feel of how it is being in SSE. And that's why also I think SENS is really important for SSE. Second phase of the project roadmap is actually the skill building for them. So it's the workshops, the trainings. Actually, I've got the faculty to agree with this, that they are willing to also help CE students with the skill building that they need. And then the third phase is actually the implementation of everything that they've worked for and they experience in SENS and with us as well as everyone in SSE. And this is where they'll create their home organization and establish their bylaws and everything. So I think that it's not really rushed. And that is a concrete plan, right? That it is not rushed. There are phases that target what needs to be done first before actually starting and establishing their identity as a home org. And then for SSE, one of the issues that I actually addressed is the internship projects, because as I consulted some of my some of my seniors in SSE, they said that one of the problems that they have with their internship programs is although there are databases, there are lists of companies being given to them, the companies there are no longer offering, or if not, information to contact the companies is not really there. And that's why I think open house is really important and really vital for this, to address this issue, because the fact that they are willing to go here says that they are offering these internship programs, that they are open for UA&P students to apply in these internship programs. And as a matter of fact, in just 1 week of talking to some of my connections, I've already had 3 companies express their interest in actually going here and marketing their internship opportunities. And just now, I actually learned of one more that I'm going to talk to as soon as this project set ablaze, right? So the fact that I already have a plan for the CE students and I have a plan to address one of the big issues in SSE, that is proof that I am ready to be the SSE rep here in the university. That I also accounted for the current, the future SSE students. And that is a testament to who I am as a leader. I don't just think for today, I think for tomorrow. Thank you.
Alright, Mr. Fernando, your rebuttal.
Yes, so actually that was really insightful. The fact that she said that her project roadmap is a 3-year plan to integrate the civil engineering students into SSE. But something I would really like to ask about, and maybe something you can all consider, is you are only running for this year. Your term in office is 1 year. So how can you ensure that your 3-year plan will actually push through, even though you won't have this position again next year and maybe the second year after that? Because right now we are second-year students, so actually by the 3rd year, we won't even be here to ensure that this 3-year plan gets put into action. And aside from that, you also said that the civil engineering students will be trained by the faculty to help them develop the skills here. But my concern really with that is that you're only training the civil engineering students. Because something I realized is that I don't think it's just the civil engineering students that would benefit from this training. There are, as they mentioned earlier, as the person has said, there are many SSE students that are not very involved, not very active in the community. So I feel like focusing your training efforts to civil engineering, giving them the skills they need to grow their own community, is not going to help the other universities, it's not going to help the rest of the sub-orgs, but rather prioritizing and favoring the civil engineering students. And lastly, you mentioned that we do have an outdated database, where not everything is there. Some companies are no longer outdated information, they don't have contact numbers. My question is, how are you going to contact more companies? You said you have 3 companies that said yes, and one more just recently just confirmed that yes. But I would just like to clarify, because this is talking about how we will support the whole sense and not just the same community. Maybe it would be helpful if you could share, like, actually for which courses do these internships apply to? Because let's say if all of them are just for one course, I actually don't see how that would be beneficial for the rest of the community. So yeah.
Okay, Mr. Fernando, with your answers this time.
Alright, so yes, the introduction of civil engineering will cause waves within SSE community, because imagine that, it's a completely new school, right? So right now there's 3 of us, and adding one more, that's adding 33% of what we already have. So that is really a big thing. And my project management workshop will actually support everyone, right? I'll just continue on from there. So yeah, so project management workshop will help not only the civil engineering students, but everyone. Because yes, this will help the current students right now sharpen their skills and even develop new skills to help them create more community projects so we can be stronger as a community. And also, because civil engineering will already be here next year, they can also participate in this project. And really, how do I address the issue of the non-participation of many SSE students? I really feel like I don't think it's because SSE students are just simply apathetic, they don't care about the community. No, I believe that SSE cares about our community. Do you care about our community? So yeah, SSE students, we care about the community. I really feel like the only thing missing is that they need to be empowered to do it. They need the avenues, they need the courage, they need someone to help them, to give them the push ahead, to help them start so that they can be involved in the community. Because if you are capable, you know that you can do something for the community, would you not do it? Maybe if you do not have the skills, maybe if you do not have the confidence, if you're not sure if you can do something, then yes, there's a good reason to hesitate. But if you have something in you, if you can do it, why would you not do it? And I want to believe that SEC students, we care about our community, and given the chance, we would do something about it. And that's why, really, the one of the benefits of this is that we hand over the initiative to the FC community because recently it's been a lot of the core members planning the projects, but this will also give an opportunity for the rest of the community, those you don't normally hear, you don't normally see in the core meetings. They will be the ones to propose projects that they want. So this will give them representation. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, iTech did something similar to this back in 2018. And it was a really cool concept because, as I mentioned, I mean, like, maybe you don't like the projects now, maybe you're not engaged, they're not engaged because they don't see the value in it. But that's why this will help us, the core and the leaders of the SE community, to ask you what do you want. And so you can be involved in it. You have the power to make a change with SSE. And this is what my project plans to do. And aside from that, really, how will we address the issue with sense, right? Because as I mentioned earlier, sense is really the foundation. If without the foundation, things will crumble. That's why it's really important to have sense together. And this is what this project management workshop will do. Because students here, not only will they learn, but there's also great opportunity for them to interact with each other. And students can even cooperate with other courses. This could be an interblock thing. Maybe even civil engineering students can plan a project together with industrial engineering students for a project for their community. And this is really what I plan to achieve with my project.
Alright, Ms. Maniego, your rebuttal.
Okay. So, to address actually what you said a while ago is, we can invite as much companies as we can, right? But actually, I have already started, and I've already started to express my want to connect with a lot of offices here in the university. I already expressed my want to connect to OCS, which I've already started approaching them, and also OAA, which is the Alumni Affairs. So through this, I'm actually addressing that concern, that the open house project, the fact that it's possible that the companies will not be that much and it will not be sufficient enough. But the fact that I've already started establishing connections assures you that I will continue establishing these in hopes and with the goal to actually find a lot of companies catering to each college program. Now, for your answer, actually, you mentioned that to help CE, you have to, the project management workshop is for them, right? But one of the things that you raised about something in your internship programs, it's internship projects, which is the alumni talks and the internship talks, is that the one of OCS is general. And the project management workshop is general. It's for everyone. How can you assure that the CE students will be given attention, more attention, because they're starting still, right? They have no identity to go back and think of, not their identity. They don't have a sub-org to go back yet. And that is why I think the project management workshop, yes, it is beneficial, but it is still general. You cannot really address CE that much if it is general by nature. And also, you said that through these projects of yours, you can help the home organization. And yes, it is true. It can also be done by the presidents of the home organizations. And my question to you actually is, why not for USG if this can be done by home organization presidents? And also, I want to raise the fact that we know you here in the university. You are in JMC, and you are the face of civil engineering. So why didn't it cross your mind to come up with one project when you have two projects for internships, one project for the civil engineering students, our future stakeholders here in the university, in SSE? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. It's now time for your follow-up question. So in your projects and platforms, neither of you state concrete initiatives to directly support and sustain your home organization sense, or any of the sub-organizations when their inactivity clearly needs to be addressed. These organizations are integral in providing students with assistance tailored to their courses in specific ways which your targeted projects may not provide, especially to the CE students, in a balanced way. In your answers earlier, you both mentioned the vitality of a strong sense. Why did you overlook direct support towards sense? How do your projects address this concern? Beginning with Mr. Fernando.
Yeah, so why did I not target SENS? Because as Ms. Maniego said, there are stuff that the SENS presidents, the community, the presidents can do. And I believe it's not, I believe that, because with my experience being the current internal vice president of DSE, I've learned that I cannot do things alone. No matter who you are, no matter how skilled of a general you are, if you go to war without your army, you cannot win. And that's why I believe that the role of a general in an army is to lead them towards the right direction, not to do everything for them. You give them directions and they will follow you so that you can lead your company to success. And that's why I did not particularly explicitly plan, although I do have projects in mind, but I did not put on my COC because that is not really my job to do. It is my job to give them direction, to support them, and to help them so that they can lead their own community as well. Because I am not the only community here. Even a general has his lieutenants, has his majors, has his commanders in the community. And regarding that, I would just like to use my remaining time to answer what Ms. Maniego said. So, the project management workshop, yes, it is general, and I don't see why there's a problem with that. What's the difference if you're in SSE or even somewhere completely different course, SNM? Is there a difference when you organize a project in the university? Isn't it the exact same process? You have to plan your proposal, you have to prepare logistics, your finance, all your paperwork, and evaluation is all the same. And I really think that's why it's okay for the project management workshop to be general, because project management is project management. It's not like if you go somewhere else, you go to a different school, go to a different course, all of a sudden the way you conduct projects is completely different. And really, I want to address the question of why run for USG? And I really think, I don't see the issue with running for USG, especially because SSE is one underrepresented community within SSE. What's the problem if me knowing the concerns, knowing the problems, knowing the issues of our SSE community and bringing them into the consciousness of USG so that USG is an extra resource that could actually help up the current organizations in sense with everything there. So what is the issue with bringing these projects in the consciousness of USG and having another platform to help sustain these organizations?
Ms. Maniego.
Thank you. Actually, yes, it's not directly stated that SENS is the target of my projects. But really, what I think about the inactivity of SENS is not because they don't want to be active. It's not because they're apathetic. It's because they're busy. SSE is a really busy school. Our programs are really difficult, and I know you understand that, SSE. And that is why my projects actually address what they need, not the activity, because the activity, it is there. It's just that our workload is heavy, right? And the fact that my projects are offering opportunities to SSE students, give them the motivation to be active in SSE because we are helping them with what they really need. Internship programs, that's what they need, right? CE students support a comprehensive plan for their integration into SSE, that is what they need. And so, not directly stating that we're addressing the inactivity does not mean that we see SSE should be more active. It's just that we understand how the inactivity of SSE students does not really equate to their lack of participation, but because of their heavy workload. And to address as well, when you're in USG, one of your main stakeholders is the university. And that is what I really mean by why didn't you run for homework president instead of USG? Because you accounted for SSE, and as much as I love SSE, and I know you know that I love SSE, I also want to think of the university, the people outside SSE. And that's why I just want to make it clear to everyone that to be an SSE rep and to be in USG does not just mean addressing the issues that there is in SSE, but also helping the community outside SSE, helping the university. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We now proceed to the third round of the debate. You both have projects geared towards helping SSE students find internships. Ms. Maniego with your open house, which has a university-wide scope, and Mr. Fernando with your SSE internship database.
and SSE Internship and Career Support, which is specifically catered to SSE students. Why is your project better suited to address the issue regarding internships and considering the varied needs of students as well? Mr. Fernando?
Yeah, so first I would like to the question is why my project is better suited in supporting as the internships, right? Is that correct? All right. So I think my project actually addresses issue better is because first of all, we, as Ms. Maniego said, right, and as we could all heard a while ago, the SSE database for internships is not really perfect, right? There's a lot of flaws, there's a lot of companies with missing information. In fact, data science doesn't have one. That's why I feel like this is the first most vital step to how to improve more internships. And secondly, why I think my career talks is going to be better is because it's not just limited to 1 week of the year. Because the open house happens 1 week of a year, and it's really this 1 week, and I really don't understand why 1 week could be sufficient for a database. Because like, let's say if you are sick for that 1 week, do you already lose that opportunity to interact with these companies? You know, if you had the official business, right? Because in JNT, like Mark, recently one of us was in official school business abroad for 1 week. If he was abroad for 1 week because of official business, will he not be able to benefit from this project because he only dedicated your internship to just 1 week? And at the same time, right, you said SSE is busy, right? You said everyone is busy, and like really, if everyone in SSE is so busy because our workload is heavy, then why do you plan to make SSE week even heavier for all of us? Because SSE week is already heavy. We have the science show, we have the math chat, and IT House, if I'm not mistaken, they had their Tetris competition last year. So now you're gonna add even more a bigger burden on SSE shoulders, making them invite so many companies, but the hassle with with reservations and all of that. And my problem really is going to divide that workload over a longer time so that SSE students don't get burdened with their workload, because also SSE week happens on November, and that's really right before the finals week. And really, I don't think it's a good idea to burden SSE students with so much work, especially when it's so close to finals already.
So, yes, you said the database is needed, especially since BS does not have a database yet, and the other programs do. But really, if you studied my project, it encompasses everything. It started with the internship fair, followed by the systematic scheduling of alumni talks, and then a creation of the database after. So if you actually read my project here, and I encourage you to do so, it's actually complete. Everything is there. 2 of his projects is there. And I think my project definitely suits SSE better. It's because the fact that you're going to interact with the companies that are going here is proof that they are ready to accept as UA&P students into their companies for their internships. And I think that's the biggest edge of my project, which is open house, is that it encompasses everything that Mr. Fernando has in his 2 projects. It encompasses an internship fair where companies will be invited, and I think that is really important, especially if you want to know if those projects adhere to your interests and your college programs. And also, what you said that the career talks is not limited as well. Yes, it's not limited to 1 week because, as I mentioned, it is systematically scheduled throughout the year. It's not just for 1 week. The internship fair is for 1 week, but the rest is systematically scheduled for the year and can be sustained if the next SSE representative chooses to do so. That's it for my rebuttal. I just want to point out that both of his projects, the fact that he mentioned that open house is difficult to the workload of the students, that is really what I want as well for SSE, right? It's collaboration, healthy collaboration, and that's why I've already reached out to the current organization presidents, and they know that one of the things that's lacking is the collaboration between the home orgs, and that's one thing we can solve. But the fact that the open house is already offering good plans for the rest of SSE, and also with an extra bonus that they're going to meet the companies. I think that's really the biggest edge of it. So my response for the question is, I just really want to reiterate that open house has everything. It already has the opportunity for you to meet the companies that will be here. And as far as I know, these companies are really open to going here and to offer internship opportunities here in the university because UA&P has a good work ethic, and I know you all know that. So the fact that we will be inviting companies here is an opportunity for you to prove that you are professionals. You have that professionalism and discipline. Also, it is also supplemented by the internship career talks that I mentioned will be done by the alumni. And that is why I've also reached out to some of our alumni, and yes, they are willing, and also I also expressed my want to collaborate with OAA because I know that OAA will bring a lot to the table, especially in bringing the SSE alumni, the successful SSE alumni, into SSE when giving these talks. And yes, I've also considered that the database, that having a company database for SSE is essential, it's vital, and it's crucial for the students of SSE. And that's why I included everything. I've thought of every possible thing that I can help or that can help students get internships, especially the students of SSE. Because I know how difficult getting an internship program that is aligned with your college program and your interests as well. So I think that's the biggest edge that my project Open House has, really. Thank you.
Mr. Fernando, your rebuttal?
Yeah, so my edge over Ms. Maniego's open house really, I would say, would be accessibility. Yes, if you invite companies here, you can interact with them, but Ms. Maniego didn't address my issue that what if you are not able to go to school for that 1 week, right? Like if you're sick for 1 week, what if you're sick for 1 week? What if you have official days abroad? How will you benefit from this opportunity? And second, I'm not really sure if it's a good idea to increase the workload of SSE students during SSE week when it's near finals. I really don't understand what you mean. And aside from that, with what the Bolton said earlier, where there's really not that much participation of SSE students in the university, how are you sure that they will even attend your career, your internship fair? Because CSA has done that last year. And I've seen so many people during lunchtime, I've observed, no one is really approaching. There's only one or few. How are you sure that SSE students would really approach them? And second, this is only a one-day thing, right? Because when you're a first year, you're probably not thinking about your internship yet. But when you have a solid internship database, it will benefit you even if you're a first year right now. Because when you reach third year, when you reach fourth year, you can use that. And aside from that, because of the manpower, where do you plan to get that manpower for your projects? For me, I have a solid plan. I have a stable plan on how to get this manpower because I plan to train my stakeholders on the project management because I know that I cannot do things alone. I need a team with me. I need the support of my community. And that's why I really have this first plan in mind. I need to first make sure that we as students are capable of organizing something. Because if we cannot even organize, if many SC students are not that active participation in the orgs, how are you going to plan something this big, especially when it's even bigger than, as I already mentioned earlier, it's so big, SSE Week is such a big event, now you're going to add something even more with the very little student participation we have. How do you plan to ensure this will be a success? And I would feel like to circle back to why my project is better than this. First of all, my projects will first enable us to do something. And secondly, it won't be a 1 week thing. It will benefit SSE. So it's not even just the students of today, the students of tomorrow, because an internship database, yes, if we update it, it will continue on to the next generations. The internship database doesn't just disappear in a snap. Professors, the admin will not delete the internship database because of how important it is for the community. And also, and I want to reiterate the question, how will you invite so many companies here? Because you already said earlier, IE and IT have an advantage because they have an existing internship database. So what, BDS students will be just left with whatever companies you invite? How many will they be? And then database is not that easy. There's a lot of legal stuff that you have to do to fill up in order to have a company on your database.
Ms. Maniego, the majority of your initiatives encompass the entire university, with SSE projects being less prominent. Conversely, Mr. Fernando, your projects are predominantly focused on SSE, with university-wide initiatives receiving less emphasis. This coupled with the fact that throughout this entire debate thus far, we have been circling on SSE and internships. How would you serve in a dual capacity as both an SSE representative and in your executive role? Why should voters support you regarding your projects given their varying scopes? Where do non-SSE students stand in your projects?
As I've mentioned, and I've reiterated a lot actually, is that my projects are for three stakeholders: the current SSE, the university, and the future SSE. So with that, I want to answer the question, where do non-SSE students stand? And have a stand in my reason for running. It's actually with LUAS. I'll just repeat it. LUAS is the initiative to create a new USG committee under OIVP in collaboration with CSA that aims to provide a sustainable support system for UA&P students that are from outside Metro Manila. So this project itself aims to help non-SSE students. It goes beyond SSE, and that is why I think that my reason for running is not just for SSE. And being SSE rep, I've already established that in two of my projects, but one of my biggest and actually one of the projects that are actually came out of my passion is LUAS. And that I recognize that there is a need for them to have that assistance from UA&P, from USG, in order to have a better transition into the university life here in Metro Manila. And actually, as I mentioned also a while ago, UA&P offers student services that are catered for the students that are from outside Metro Manila, but there is no avenue yet. That there's no strong avenue for them to offer that to the student body. And having this committee will actually give them that bridge between the UA&P offices that offers those kinds of services for the students that are from the provinces and the UA&P student body. And for my SSE, for my projects for SSE, as I've established a while ago, it does address the needs of the current and the future SSE stakeholders. And that is why my projects are what it is, because what I really want is to create an inclusive UA&P community. Not just in SSE, but for the entire UA&P community. And one of the factors to do that is to know where your roots are. And also help plan for everybody and offer opportunities. Thank you.
Your response.
So where do non-SSE students stand in my projects? Well, at first glance, my projects might seem like it only benefits SSE. But I would like to ask you, out of so many orgs out there, how many people in your org are from SSE? Right, maybe one, maybe two, maybe three. If you're lucky, maybe 10. But I really think this is underutilized population. There's around 200 students in SSE, and just imagine if we can empower these 200 students to do something for the university. And that's where my project management workshop comes in. Because SSE students, if we can empower SSE students to do something for the community, then that benefits the whole community, right? It might just seem like we're just training SSE students, but no, we are training SSE students to help the whole community. And that is what my project aims to achieve. It's not just for SSE. Yes, it is a workshop for SSE students, but it will help SSE students create an impact in UA&P. Because imagine now, SSE students, what are we best known for, right? SSE students, what are our strengths? We are SSE, science requires a lot of thinking, a lot of analysis, a lot of math. And imagine if we can apply all that we know into to these different various organizations in UA&P. Just imagine the impact that SSE students could do. And regarding Project LUAS, yes, do you have data that this is really needed, especially as a USG committee, and especially because there's a similar org, UA&P Local, which was supposed to focus on bringing the different cultures around the Philippines to UA&P, yet it died. It died like 1 or 2 years ago. So how can you ensure that this is going to be different, and why does it have to be a USG committee? And second, I believe a better way to integrate provincial students into UA&P is not by boxing them into their own community, putting them in their own world, but really putting them into UA&P and exposing them, integrating them, exposing to different UA&P culture. And I really think that's a more effective way to do it, and that's what my project focuses on. It's particular because I'm focused on sense, right, which is the root of all SC students. When you have such a tight-knit community that can support each other, this will solve the problem of people being isolated, people being stratified, and people having to have their own, having no help of their own, no one to help them how to adjust to the university.
Thank you, candidates. That concludes the third and final round of the debate. We will now be opening up the floor to stakeholders for their questions.
So, hi guys. I think everyone knows a lot about your projects now, and I think there are mixed opinions, but I really just want you to state your opinion on why you are the better candidate, and try to go deeper, like what value are you going to give to the SSC community?
Okay, spicy question. Alright, so yes, I could go on talking about what I've done in the university. I can talk about how I've involved myself in JMC, in Savio, in DSC. But really, if you really want to know what I've done and what I'm capable of, I'm not the best person to ask. You can read it by testimonials, you can ask people that work with it, and they will tell you what I am and what I'm capable of. But let me tell you why you should vote for me. You should vote for me because I have a goal for SC. I know what I want to achieve, and I have the solid means. I have a way to do that. I know what I want to achieve, and my projects support that step by step by step. I do not promise a project I cannot do. First, I addressed the root problem in SSE, like what the very first thing you need to conduct projects. First, to do a project in the first place, what's the very first thing you need? You need people. You need people to do it. You need people to organize, to plan, and to attend your projects. And that's really what my project's supposed to do. And I have a solid foundation on how to do that. And aside from that, I've been involved in different organizations within the university. So which means I have learned, I have experience, and I've also learned from others, from different successful leaders about how I could do my projects. And really, what I want to emphasize really is that it's not about me, Don't vote for me just because I'm DS. Don't vote for me just because you see me on the posters. It's not about me. It's not about Nicole. It's not about DS. It's not about IE. It's not even about Kasanga. It's not about Anima. It's about SSE. And if you really want to create an SSE community, then no one should be left behind. We should do this together, right? Because as I said earlier, a general cannot do anything without his army. That's why you should vote for me, and that's why you should vote, because if you believe that my projects are the best for you, because without your support, my projects will not go through. Without your support, Nicole's projects won't go through. And that's the reason why for my slogan, yes, Nicole for the goal, yes, the ends come before the means, but the means make the ends possible. And really, how do you make the ends possible? When you just do it.
Personally, I don't want to answer why I'm the better candidate. I want you to know why I'm running for USG. I am someone who actually had a difficulty starting here in the university. I didn't join a lot of orgs in my first year because I was struggling to adapt here in the university. Like I mentioned in some of my term skills, I'm from the province. And that is the inspiration behind my project Luwas. I am someone who didn't feel included at first because I felt that my experiences are not as relevant as the experiences of people here. And that is why I created Project Roadmap. I know how it feels to not have that much connections at first. And that is why I created Open House. So basically, my reason for running in USG is not for me. It's for inclusivity, to have a plan, and to offer opportunities. Because that's what UA&P gave me. It gave me this university to be this person that's standing in front of you who wants to help everyone in SSE or even in the entire university. I want you to know that my projects are born from passion. And once something is born from passion, you can never let go of it. Thank you.
What will UA&P lose if you don't win? And I don't mean SSE, I mean UA&P.
I feel like UA&P will not lose. Because I will still push for my project. Beyond my win, whether I win or not, I will be joining the office of the Internal Vice President and I will push for this project, Project Luas. I will suggest this to the next SSE rep, my internship program, and also my CE comprehensive plan. I will introduce that to them, and I will want them to push through with it even if I'm not in position. Because I didn't run for myself, I ran for SSE. Thank you.
What will UA&P lose if I don't win, right? I really think UA&P will lose really what my goal in mind is. Because me and Nicole, yes, we do have similar priorities, we have similar goals, but we are different in different ways, right? Nicole, she has a passion for her, like she knew the problem, she experienced herself. She as a provincial student, she had the problems with that thing, and she does what she can to tackle it. But I think I'm tackling a more fundamental problem here, because yes, you may have felt that you do not have a community around the UA&P, and I think the better solution to solve that is not to create a USG community, right? Because if you do not feel welcome, if you do not feel like you have a community in SSE, in UA&P, and I think that's really a bigger problem than not having a community for the provincial students. Because it's not only provincial students that have issues with having friends, having a community in UA&P. It's everyone. And I don't like to isolate just one population in SSE. Like SSE has provincial students, SSE has non-provincial students. Yeah, so what will UA&P lose if I don't win? Really, mainly, it will be what I really have in mind. It will be me. Although, yes, I could run for the representative, the home org president, but really, it's gonna lose my voice in the USG. It's gonna lose me representing my people in SSE. And really, it's not really about me, as I said. It's not about me. It's not about data science or IE or IT. It's not about Anima. It's not about Kasanga. It's about SSE. So what will we lose? Well, it's not about me in the first place. Thank you.
So one thing I wanted to bring up is how to build school spirit in SSE students to UA&P as a whole. How can SSE help UA&P as a whole by using the practical skills they learn in their respective courses and apply them in the service of UA&P? The focus of my question is the practical skills they learn in their respective courses. Thank you.
So how can we benefit UA&P with the practices for our courses? Well, our courses in SSE are very practical. As you know, data science, IE, IT, they are very practical courses. And really, I think, let me go per course about how they can apply their practical knowledge into UA&P. First, let's start off with data science. Yes, and one way that data science really can benefit UA&P is the use of data. As our current internal vice president, Mariam, as she has reinstated what's called the RDC, because UA&P needs to be data-driven, and that's something we learn in data science. Right? I think data science students can really help UA&P by, if they can involve themselves in UA&P, they can make UA&P data-driven. Because a lot of UA&P stuff right now don't seem to be that data-driven. And if we can make things data-driven, we can really know what are the issues. We can even find underlying issues that we might not even understand, because data science, really, we can find a lot of issues. We can find a lot of connections that is not possible with the human brain, because computers have so much more processing power, and that's what data science can do for UA&P. Now let's go on to IT. To be honest, I'm not that familiar with what IT does, but yes, IT can help UA&P by perhaps improving whatever systems we have right now, because from the different orgs I work with, like the primary things we have is Excel sheets or Google Sheets, right? And if IIT can help UA&P, if they can develop a platform that can actually help, or to make things more efficient, more streamlined, it could actually be really helpful. And for IE, I am also not that familiar with IE, with what IE does, but from the tagline I hear, I saw recently from IE is that engineers make things, industrial engineers make things better. And I really think that's what IE can do, because industrial engineers, they make things better. And really, that's what IE can do, because if they can analyze the problems going on within UA&P, within USG, within the different organizations, student interest groups, or even something the admin is doing wrong, if UA&P admin doing something wrong and they can find it, that's really something they can do. And put them together as a whole, there's also something, it's really, if you work together, right? Because if data science can show the data, if IT can provide those platforms, and if IE can find the solutions, then really it's a lot of things we could do for UA&P that we are not currently doing.
SSE can help a lot. A lot. And, okay, so I want to approach this the same way that Josh did, each program. So I'll start with, of course, my program, which is industrial engineering. And I think one of the biggest contributions that we can give is our optimization and problem-solving skills. Because IE, like he said, we make things better because we come up with a lot of alternative solutions. And you can apply that to any office, any committee, or any system here in UA&P. For data analytics, data science, actually that's my answer, I know that they are good data analytics because they know how to use data and how humans can use data to make it serve people. And I think that's really helpful, especially with researchers, like what he said, and also analyzing what the current systems are here in the university, whether it is effective, whether it is efficient. And for IT, I know a lot of people from IT, they're my friends. And one thing that I really know about them is that they are logical people. Imagine programming this long of a program, how can they not be logical? And that is important in establishing or maybe executing projects here in the university. So that's why I think that the SSE programs that we offer here in the university can actually serve the UA&P community really in a big sense, like, yes.
Big sense, I like it.
Yeah, so I wanted to follow up on the question. I'm asking for like a very concrete way. I guess off the top of my head, I was thinking of like an app for the orgs or like a data science firm. Do you guys have something as like concrete like that? I mean, I understand that the skills we have are very valuable in technical fields, but like what can we see? Like what can we expect to see? Like how it's applied? Thank you.
Ako na lang. Okay, so, kasi nauna ka na ito, baka. Okay. Okay, for the data science, I do think that creating databases, it is really essential. And, of course, data analytics, right? Especially sa RDC, like he mentioned, it was actually the first thing that came up in my mind as well. It's actually a committee under USG, right? And the fact that it's not that active now as what I've learned from some of the offices that I've talked to. That is, I think, what the data science students that's how data science students can contribute to the university. For IT programming, yes, what you said, apps or maybe systems that will benefit the university, like updating yung napakatagal na enlistment peer enlistment process. Maybe IT can help with that, or maybe learn from that how they can improve and make it a case study. And then for industrial engineering, since like we said, we're good in optimization and problem solving, I think we can be good in logistics in everything actually. Because one of the biggest issues with or problems that we have with logistics is that sometimes it's really inefficient. And I think having IE students in those types of processes and having them improve those processes will make the systems better. Thank you.
So to answer your question, so as a data science student, I have an idea of what I can contribute to the university and something that we can contribute as data scientists, right? One thing we could do is we could provide data-driven newsletters and all of that. But really, what I really want to emphasize the fact that I am just one student here. The question was what can we, the SC students, really do for the community? And that's not a question that I should answer alone. And I want to ask every SC student just to think about it in your seats. What can you do with the practical knowledge you have you learn from your courses? What can you do for the community? Because as I mentioned again, and I'll repeat it no matter how many times you ask me to, right? A general needs his army. It's not just about a general. Yes, I have ideas. I can lead you to how I can help you. I can provide you direction perhaps, but in the end, it's up to you because the question was, what can we do? It's not about what can I do, but what can you do, but what can we do? So I really think that everyone should be thinking about this in SSD as a data scientist, as an industrial engineer, as an IT student. What can I do for the university?
Hi. Okay, so my question is for Ms. Maniego. Hello, I am a provincial student as well. I come from Cebu. And yes, my question is regarding your Project Luas project. So the mechanization of your Project Luas project is provincial students meeting through a provincial students committee, hoping that to help them to adjust more to university life, correct? Okay, so it actually rings familiar of an SIG that we used to have in the university called UA&P Local. And if I'm not mistaken, they're also still on the process of rebuilding that because it is still, the members of Local are very much still trying to bring it back for those of you who didn't know. But yeah, if your goal is to allow provincial students to adjust and thrive in the university, why box them into one committee where they won't actually be immersed and open to more people? So, again, speaking as a provincial student myself, I wonder if this project, LUAS, which is actually already an existing project, again, if you didn't know, it was actually originally done by the previous president, who was also the founder, one of the founders of Local, and also the EVP. And it is a continuing, ongoing project right now that is being worked on by myself and the incumbent EVP, and it's really a province bazaar. We bring the province here and we don't segregate them into a committee. So, I'm wondering if Project US needs to be a USG committee. I understand the need for a community, especially moving into a big city. But is this the right avenue to do it? Unlike Local, again, this isolates the provincial students instead of promoting and celebrating the local culture of the provincial students. In other words, rather than bringing and celebrating that local community to the UA&P students, you are separating them from the UA&P students. Can you comment on that? Thank you.
Okay. Actually, my project, Luas, is not really isolating them. It's more on including them into the community. It's not... Okay, so I want you to have a bigger picture of my project, Luas. It's actually to create an avenue for the offices in the university to connect with the UA&P student body, especially those students that need help, that are from outside Metro Manila. And I've actually consulted with the Office of the Student Services, and they said that there really is a need for USG to have this, to support the UA&P students that are from the provinces. Because while they're offering the services for them to adapt here in the university, it's not that broadcasted because there's no particular avenue. There's no consistent avenue for them to reach out to the UA&P student body. And that's actually one of the issues that they raise also, is that their difficulty to know who needs help. And that is what this committee wants to achieve, to give that help, the services that UA&P actually offers to the UA&P students that are from the provinces. And I am one of them. Because when I heard of it, I was actually shocked. Kasi right now, I came from Cavite, and I'm staying in Rizal, which is problem, kasi ang layo pa din. But learning that there is a list of housing opportunities near the university, and it is not broadcasted to me, and I'm a student in the university. So having this committee will empower the university, UA&P students that are from the provinces, that they'll know that there are services that are for them, that there is a community that's willing to assist them, to help them adjust and be involved more in the community. And there's also an avenue for them to achieve that meaningful transition as well. So it's not going to be, yes, I recognize that project, that Luwas is actually good with nature, and also local, the one he addressed. And also I want to address that. I recently reached out to one of the older members of local, and the main reason why it died is not because of the nature of it, because it has a good goal. It has a great goal, and I've learned of their goal. It's just that the seniors are the ones who proposed it and made it possible, but then they graduated and then the pandemic happened. That's why it died. It's not because of their lack of passion for it. It's just because of the circumstances that were dealt with. And Project Luwas has a good goal as well to empower the culture that we have, that each student have here. And having this committee does not mean hindering them from actually, or isolate them into that committee. It's giving them that opportunity to adjust more, to transition more with the help of USG and the university. Thank you.
So while I applaud your desire to want to reach out to more provincial students, because I acknowledge that that is true, again, as a provincial student myself, and actually as a former local member. However, I think that, like your opponent reiterated earlier, it is a much bigger problem than just provincial students. So what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people in the university need to be reached out to more. They need to know more about these things, and that's exactly the purpose of the already present USG committees such as REC and AAC. So it seems a little bit redundant that we're trying to give just to one specific community, which is also arguably a small population in the university, and there are already resources for it, like again AAC and RDC. So and those are also currently rebuilding. And if you want to establish another committee, it's also difficult, right? With our knowledge on USG committees, it's quite difficult to kind of get it up and running. And again, it's a small population that can be reached out to by these already present committees. And to correct also your statement on UA&P local, the reason why it died is not because the seniors graduated or that they lack passion or anything like that. It's really just because it was the pandemic and there wasn't enough time and involvement to do these things. So wanting to have a provincial students committee where we want to gather all of these provincial students, and local was already even including everybody who wasn't a provincial student, and it was already low in engagement. How are you going to sustain this committee? Thank you.
I'm planning to sustain this committee because I know it's needed. And I know that the people and the offices in the university knows that it is needed. It started off as passion, but actually knowing that there is a lack of opportunity to actually reach out to the office or to the services that is present and that is offered to the UA&P students, especially those that are outside Metro Manila. I know and I believe that this is really needed. And actually, upon consulting, I realized, and we actually talked about it, that the reason why we think it's really a small group, it's because there's not much research done about it. And that's actually one of the issues there. And that's one of the suggestions that they gave, is to have a good database of the students that are from the provinces. And that's something we can do. If I am ever elected in the USG and I offer the position there, I will have those connections to get the database of the university students, of UA&P students that are from the provinces. And I just really want to state that it is needed. Kasi hindi naman lahat kaya mag-adjust agad. And the fact that this is, okay, let's say that this is a small group. But are you willing to let that small group be deprived of the opportunities that we can offer as a university? And instead focus on the big group? Diba UA&P wants to have an inclusive community where everyone is given the same amount of opportunities. And the fact that they're coming from outside Metro Manila and they don't know where to go, is that the same set of opportunities given to everyone? Having this committee will allow that to happen. Thank you.
Maybe again, coming to you as an audience or student, fourth year from BSIT. So I have one question for each of you. Let's start with Josh Fernando. So to give context, this is about your project management workshop now. One of the implicit functions of all student organizations in the university is to teach their members project management. This is from planning all the way to evaluation. You yourself in the project description, this is quoting the poster behind you, say that the project management workshop states, as an organization, it is one of the ways that students can impact the community. We also have the project management team as a USG committee that exists to embody the ideals of project management. Moreover, project management is already a class that is offered in many programs such as BSBA, BSA-HCD, BSIE, BSMA, PSIT, just to name a few. I think this was also mentioned earlier in one of the questions. You mentioned earlier that there was a demand because of the project implemented by BSIT, which is, mind you, only one example. However, I don't think this can be considered as an indicator for demand given the low engagement rate of that particular project. So my question for you is, why is your project necessary given all the avenues through which students can already learn project management, and what exactly is the unique value that it can give to offer to these students?
Alright. So what's the unique value that my project can offer to the students? So as you mentioned, many courses do offer some sort of project management, but it's different when you're learning in the classroom and when you're learning outside of the classroom. Because when you're in the classroom, you know, it's a culture is different. Your focus is a lecture type usually. But my project is not just meant to be simply a lecture type thing. Right? Because really, one of the ways that we can learn is through community. When you exchange ideas, when you exchange experiences, you learn from the experiences of others, and I think that will really be helpful. And aside from that, yes, we do have orgs in UA&P, such as the project management team and other orgs. But I would like to argue the fact that these orgs. They do have their merits, and yes, they do teach this. But within SSE, I think there's a need because if you literally look at student engagement along many of the orgs, SSE students are not very engaged, and this project is aimed to help ease them into it because especially for freshman students, right, they might not have access to these immediately, and yes, including me, as the years go by, you do slowly learn these skills. But my project offers a unique perspective in the sense that I am targeting SC students, and with this we can also include specific stuff that apply to SC students that we learn in our courses and stuff like that. Yeah. And this is, as you said, for indicator of demand. Yes, one project might not indicate the demand, but really my basis on this project is not the fact that there is a demand, but it's about opening opportunities out there. Because this project, it's not just going to be a lecture type, because I took inspiration from that IT project because it's empowered, it's really giving everyone as an opportunity to propose projects that they are interested in. Because if you are interested in a project, you do have a higher chance of being involved in it than projects you are not interested in. And that's what I think, what the unique perspective that my project can offer.
Go on.
Hi again. I think I have one follow-up now for that. You said that it's not necessarily concerning the demand, and you said that you can implement it more effectively even than PMP, particularly in SSE. But my question to you is, given the effectivity already of PMP as a project management team that is actually under the USG, which would be under you, why exactly should you not just encourage more SSE students to join PMP instead of actually creating a new organization which has more risks in implementing a project that hasn't been implemented before yet successfully?
Alright, so I just want to clarify, I'm not going to create a whole new organization. And yes, we could just encourage SSE students to go to PMP, and in fact, it happens every year. PMP does have a recruitment every year. But you have to realize that with how PMP market themselves, many students might just really be too pressured to enter because many, including me, some students in UA&P, they did not have that much confidence coming from their high school. Maybe they weren't the class president, maybe they weren't the student council president, and maybe they feel like they can't handle the pressure that PMP goes through. And another unique perspective that my project offers is that because PMP is divided, they work on so many things. They work on hatchery, Unitas games, and all of that, which means that which means that they will have less attention to SSE, which means the goal of my project is I want to enhance the community of SSE by enabling us to create community projects that will benefit not just SSE, but eventually the entire UA&P community. So by creating this specifically for SSE, we can promote more community projects within SSE, and not just UA&P in general, because I think that's what SSE really needs. We really need the community, especially coming off 2 years from the pandemic. When I first went to UA&P, I came from 2 years of lockdown, and there's really not many friends you can make online. And I think this is also one of the reasons that why we really need to put a focus on community. And it's not just me, Nicole even said, provincial students, everyone needs this sense of community. Because, as we learned in our philo classes, the human is a social being in general. We need the community to be in. That's what my project aims to create. It's to empower you, SSE students, to create a community for ourselves. Thank you.
Sorry, another follow-up question before I move on to the question for Nicole. Sorry, Wash. So earlier you mentioned how this workshop benefits programs with lower population that is more inclusive, so it becomes more inclusive with a more general framework rather than specifically targeting SSE, I think you specifically mentioned. However, I don't think you can be all-encompassing while also targeting specific engagement towards a specific community, which is SSE. You can't have your cake and eat it too. What trade-off are you willing to make to be more inclusive rather than specifically targeting the SSE market?
So can you rephrase it?
Okay, to rephrase, earlier when you're debating about inclusivity and particularly targeting the SSE community, I think was an specific question about that. You mentioned how more general framework when implementing project management is better because it's more inclusive and actually also includes the SSE. But my question for you is, when you're more general, you're also not paying specific attention to that target community. So what exactly is the trade-off you're willing to take when implementing a project such as this and also veer towards the interest of your SSE community?
Alright, first I would like to clarify that I'm not saying that a general project is better. I'm just saying that a general project such as this works. And yes, it might be better to target a specific issue because the more specific you go, the deeper you can get into the project. But it also means that the more specific you go, the less coverage you can cover. And what is the trade-off here? I really think the trade-off that this would cover would probably be like depth, right? Because I feel like with a more general project, you won't be able to go too deep into the theories, the techniques, but you get to cover a wider range of topics from marketing, logistics, and all of that, but you won't be able to get into the nitty-gritty stuff, and that's a trade-off I'm willing to make.
Thank you for the answer. So for Nicole now, then I think someone else has a question. This is regarding your project Open House. So for context, there's been somewhat of a scarcity of official career fairs within the university, with the only ever recently successful one coming from CSA OCS, a project entitled Workforce. The most successful implementation of this way back in 2021 was one that was co-presented by JP Morgan Chase & Co., an American multinational finance corporation. So you see the caliber of which they execute such projects in the university. Which is slightly similar to yours, this project aims to aid students and graduates who are looking for employment or internship opportunities, which actually runs every year. So again, this seems to be a conflict of interest when it comes to implementing a project that is as effective as one that is implemented by our very own school officers. So my question for you, Ms. Nicole, is can you provide a concrete point of delineation from CSA OCS's Workforce, given how they seem to be quite similar and given how CSA seems to be more adequate than any student individual in the university as an office?
Sorry, can you repeat the last line?
Sure. So my question for you is, can you provide a concrete point of delineation, or in simpler terms, can you differentiate your project from CSA OCS's Workforce, given how they seem to be more capable of executing projects like this, seeing as how they're an office of the university?
What I want everybody in SSE to know is that I'm not competing with CSA OCS. I've actually raised that interest to collaborate with CSA OCS. And the difference between my project and their Workforce is actually that this project is for SSE. So that means the companies that will be invited is SSE-centric. All the internship opportunities that will be offered aligns to the college programs offered under SSE. And with regards to the execution, like I said, I want to establish that collaboration with CSA OCS. So I'm not really competing. If ever there's a need for me to reach out to CSA OCS, I will reach out to them. And I've also expressed this to the dean also, and they said that they are more than willing to contact and help us reach out to companies that are willing to go here and market their internship opportunities. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. So this is a question from the audience. Regarding your work ethic, your SSE peers who have worked with you in the past have concerns that there have been difficulties reaching out to you, connecting with you, and teamwork in the past. So how can you assure the SSE community that you will be able to fully commit to the responsibility of a USG officer while possessing the ideal traits of an approachable and inclusive SSE representative? This is for both candidates.
Can you repeat the question, please?
So a question from the audience. Regarding your work ethic, your SSE peers who have worked with you in the past have concerns that there have been difficulties reaching out to you, connecting with you, and teamwork in the past. How can you assure the SSE community that you will be able to fully commit to the responsibility of a USG officer while possessing the ideal traits of an approachable and inclusive SSE representative? This question is for both candidates.
Alright. So regarding those concerns, I would really just say that I think there's what may have happened is a systematic problem in SSE because um, because if you okay, yeah, because yes, because before that, yes, I am easy to work with. I think you can ask many people I've worked with about that. And yes, I can be committed to what I've done. I really think what's going on here could be a communication roadblock, right? Because especially with in SSE with SEMS, right? Yes, well, I think the issue here would really be channels of communication in which it would be possible to work it out. But I can guarantee that, yes, I am going to be approachable. You can reach me. And I think if you really need proof of that, yeah, you can reach me later if you want to PM me. Talk to me personally, maybe you can find something about this. Or you can talk to my friends and people I've worked with to really see whether or not if they can convince you that, I can do this.
With regards to that, I would like to take full accountability of what my actions were before. Actually, if I don't really want to spill the reason, but I'm sure they know the reason is really personal and it's I don't really want to open it here. But what I can guarantee you is that I have the experience in being in multiple organizations, just not here in the university. When I was in high school, I was actually what's that word? The simultaneous president in 3 organizations, and we did a lot. It's just that moving here in the university, like I said, it's really difficult for me because I came from outside the province and it was really hard to transition. And moving forward, I want to use that as an inspiration and as a motivation for me to do better. And standing here in front of you today is proof that I really want to do better. And as your next SSE rep, if you do vote for me, I want to promise you that I will bring that high school Nicole here. Now that I've conquered all the challenges that there can be, especially in starting my life here in the university. And like I've said, my reason for running is not just really for myself, but it's for my gratitude to UA&P because they offered me a lot of opportunities to get to where I am today. So that's what I can give. I can promise to SSE that from now on I will become a better leader, a better friend, and a better member of SSE. Thank you.
Alright, next question from the audience. Hi, Ms. Maniego. Hi, Ms. Maniego. In the infographic posted by the boson, you were the only one who said you are not open to having CONCON implemented during your term, if elected. Even your co-candidates Robin and Marjoy said the opposite. So my question is, why are you not open to CONCON? Is it you are not fully aware? And not fully aware of the mechanism of CONCON? And 2, does this mean that if ever elected and your term calls for a CONCON, will you not agree with it even if your fellow USG officers do?
My reason for not agreeing with the CONCON right now is because I do think that while it is a good initiative to have 14 officers in the USG, it is not the time for me. I think that with the fact na 7 lang ang kailangan, 7 pa lang ang kailangan for USG and we don't have second set representatives running or second set candidates. Paano bang 14? Ngayon pa lang na kami ni Josh, SSE, 2. Si Rob and si Iara, SEM, 2. But then the rest, isa-isa lang. So what more kung 14? And yes, I am open to it, just not during my term. Because I do think that the preparation for it is not that sufficient yet. And the risk of failure of elections is still big. And I want to point out that I'm not against it as a whole, or even in the next few years. I'm just thinking that doing it during the next term is not that efficient yet. So the fact that there are 14 officers in USG is a good initiative kasi mas marami nang madedelegate ng tasks, right? But the fact na ngayon pa lang, 7 positions ang kailangan i-fill. 5 pa nga lang eh. 5 pa lang yung merong positions na i-fill. May 2 pang nawawala. So what more kung 14? Thank you.
A follow-up question. How can you assure us that you will be adaptable in the event that the USG of your term as early as now? Oh, sorry. How can you assure us that you will be adaptable when in the USG in as early as now your answer is opposed to the answer of your running mates? Or rather, how can you assure us that if it is something that your running mates and elected USG would want to implement, how would you be able to collaborate with them? Or will you oppose it?
I always go for the common good. And I'm a team player. So if majority of them wants to push through with the content, then okay. Because I do think that it is good. It is good. And I'm willing and I'm open for that. It's just that my reason for saying that I disagree with it is just I do think that the risk of failure of elections is still high and there's still a huge possibility for it. But if that is what my fellow USG wants and sees that it is the best option to have, I will go for it because I trust them. Because I know that they got there the same way that I got there. Through my merits, through my perseverance, and through my passion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm back. I have a curious question now, because a question like this was posed yesterday, I believe, and kind of want to do a small case study on it. It's about the cannibalization of courses. So we already know that BSCE is going to be an incoming course next year, right? So for context, with the creation of the new civil engineering course, a course that is widely popular both nationally and internationally, with its demand growing here in the Philippines, many students have expressed their interest into shifting into it from other SSC courses. This raises the concern of BSCE cannibalizing other courses, a few of which already have very low student populations. As SSC representatives, what can you do to protect the interests of those courses that may be threatened by this issue? So this is for both candidates.
In the sense of cannibalizing, I don't think I see it as such. Because we have, as I've said, we have our own differences. We have our own strengths, we have our own weaknesses. And we can use that for the common good, for everyone's good in SSE. And the fact na maraming CE students na papasok is a good sign that SSE is growing. We shouldn't be scared na dumadami sila. In fact, feeling ko nga mamamotivate pa yung mga program directors natin, yung dean natin, na paramihin pa yung sa iba kasi lumalaki na yung SSE. It's a goal that we should not be afraid of, growth, right? And like I said, I have a plan for CE then on how to establish their, yung home organization and their identity in SSE. And I'm sure that that will help them with how they will be in SSE. And ang first phase kasi nun is integration and belonging into the SENS community. So the fact that I've considered na i-involve sila with the rest of SSE does not pose a threat that there is going to be like cannibalizing or may mas mapa-priority pa compared sa isa. And ayun, I feel like through my project then, the fact that I want to have an inclusive SSE community by establishing a plan for CE, I don't think it's gonna cannibalize any other courses in SSE. To be fact, I'm excited. As a matter of fact, I'm excited na magkakaroon na ng CE students because there are more people to help us in SSE. Thank you.
civil engineering cannibalizing other schools, other courses in SME? Well, because when you talk about it from this, when you look at it from this perspective, you're looking at from the school, from perspective of each course, right? It's like, oh no, we're going to be slowly losing our students because civil engineering will be gaining more students. And so you mentioned the issue is that at current SE students have expressed interest into shifting into civil engineering. So this means that SE won't necessarily increase population, but rather it will be like redistributed. So the student population of each course will be redistributed basically each student population right now will be decreased for the current 3 courses, and civil engineering will sort of increase. And I guess I really think one thing that we should look into is not just the perspective of each course, but also the perspective of each student. If a student really wants civil engineering, who are we to stop them? In fact, it's not really our duty to tell them, no, don't go in civil engineering, stay with us, because I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right to limit them just because for our own interests. I really think the most important really is the interests of the students in mind. If they really think civil engineering is the best for them, then maybe that's where they should go, and I don't think we should stop them. But if you're talking about, but yes, it's also a problem that the current 3 courses might have reduced numbers. And I think really what we can do there is really to educate our students really more of the differences between each course. Because one thing I realized as a data science student, and I think many data science students might be able to empathize with this, is that especially for our first year, you don't really know much about what exactly you do in data science. You know, okay, it's about data, it's about graphs, it's about money. Whoa, so cool. But what exactly do we do? I think, but with civil engineering, you know exactly what we do. We build bridges, we build roads, we build airports, we build infrastructure and all of that. And I really think one way we could really keep students from transferring away from their current courses to civil engineering is really showing them what the value of their current course is. Because if they don't see the value of their current course, then or if they see that civil engineering has more value for them, then who are we to stop them? But if we can show them that yes, this course is really the best course for them, and I think that's really the best thing we could do. Because we shouldn't be, I don't think it's the right move to stop people from following their passion. Rather, it would be better to help people find their passion. Be it find their passion for data science, find their passion for IT, or find their passion for IE. So really, you have to look at it from both perspectives, right? It's not, you have to accept the fact that students, yes, you should respect their ability to choose for themselves what they think the best course for action, what the best course in the university is for them. But we also have to, what each school should do if they want to retain their students is show them the value of their course. Because I think that's really the best way that we can have the best of both worlds. Students know what they're getting into, and students really know what they want to do in the future.
Hello? Okay. So this comes from one of our audience members. For both candidates, I'm pretty sure you've attended a lot of our home orgs events. They're talking about science, DSC, science, and ITech. And one thing I noticed is that the attendance is low. What I want to ask, or for you to reiterate, is how we can improve student engagement with our home orgs and ensure SSE students' attendance.
Right. So how can we ensure SSE students' attendance, right? For me, I think really the best way to do this is not necessarily to provide incentives or anything sort of like that, because really, I think the best way to improve student engagement is really to create a community for them in UA&P. If SSE students can feel like they have a genuine community here in UA&P to support them, that's here for them, and then that would be I think that would really help with student engagement. It's like when you make a friend, right? If you're not friends with a person, why would you spend time with them? But if you are friends with a person, then yes, then you would spend time for that person. And I think it's also a job for all of us, not just me. It's for everyone. Because if you want a community of your own, you can't just have it. You have to be part of it. It's like when you make a friend. that friend is not just a friend to you. You have to be a friend to that friend. So I think it applies in the same way. So if he wants if you want to have a community in SSE in sense, then we have to be a community for others as well.
I think how we can approach that, the lack of participation, is to have approachable, kind, and even yung mga jolly-jolly na still mga home-org leaders and home-org, core team. I feel like I can be like super approachable, super kind, super jolog, pero still I can't influence everyone. And that's why we need good core teams in the organization. And with that also, I want to reiterate the fact that there is a need for a good relationship between the stakeholders and me, as if ever I'm your SSE representative. And that comes with knowing how to deal with people and having friends, knowing how to have good friends and good relationships. And that's what I think is something special about me, is that I like having good friends and I like establishing good relationships. And if ever I'm your next SSE representative, I want to influence other people with that kind of thinking, to establish good relationships, to not feel like, oh, since 14 ako, mga ano ko sila. I want them to think na, oh, 14 ako, so dapat pwede nila akong i-approach. At dapat pwede nila akong maging kaibigan. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you all our stakeholders and audience members for your questions. Now, we may call on all candidates from Kasanga and Anima slates to front for a photo op